time.
It's time.
Because we're in the middle of an exhaustion epidemic in America. And at the center of the crisis is a disabling disease that was not diagnosed by doctors until recently. It affects enormous numbers of women every day, very few of whom get diagnosed. It makes you fatter, less productive, and it makes you depressed. It's called chronic fatigue syndrome. It's a big topic. Dr. Jacob Teitelbaum's a good friend. He's an expert, actually, in the field of exhaustion and chronic fatigue syndrome, and he's here with us to talk to us a little bit about this syndrome. Thank you very much.
Yes, he's here, actually, physically live right here in the studio. In fact, we're going to do a number of shows, so you will see Sharron in this outfit. I'll be changing mine. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
We're gonna do 2 shows today, but we're gonna have the same outfits, but they're gonna have different subject matter. Okay, so stay with us because we're going to do a series of 6 that will hopefully, as kidding with Sharron,
cover something they're suffering with.
I was kidding with Sharron this morning. I said we're going to cover the entire internet with
right.
Dr. Teitelbaum. So stay with us because, in fact, it reminds me, Doctor. Good to have you, by the way.
Yes.
I feel like we are just total buddies, part of the family. So that's how you must feel about him because we have fallen in love with this guy. I mean, and when I read books, everybody wants his name endorsing their book. Mm-hmm. You know you've arrived, okay? Right. But this particular guest, some time ago, I was watching one of our programs, said, "Hello, I'm one of the biggest fans of Herman and Sharron and hardly ever miss the program. Please tell me that you are planning to have Dr. Teitelbaum return as the guest." And of course, she goes on and on about the things that our last program she was able to start and how it has changed her whole physical condition.
That's wonderful.
So it's just wonderful that the Lord brings this kind of person into our family. Mm-hmm. And you are our family. We've been with you for 32 years. And Sharron still looks young, and I am aging. Good to have you. Good to have you, buddy.
Always Thank you for coming back all the way from Hawaii, for goodness sake.
Yes. Can you imagine making a guy come from Hawaii?
Well, we're here today to give you folks your life back. So there will be a blessing in here for you. Mm-hmm. And it makes it fun to come even from Hawaii. So we're going to have a good time here.
That's right.
Okay, I want to. This is going to be, by the way, the book that you can go online and have your own copy. And by the way, all 6 programs, you can take the website. We're going to show you product. We're going to show you helps. We're going to allow you then to make up your mind as to what you want to do, because this guy can tell you, it's like the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. I can tell you about the gospel. It's up to you to choose. Mm-hmm. So isn't that right? Because when you tell somebody what they should do physically.
It's not gospel, but it's really good.
That's right. Okay, well, let's start out by nutritional defenses. Okay, what defense do we need to be in peak condition? What do we need?
Well, first, need to understand that the modern diet is horrible. It's called the SAD, or the Standard American Diet. It has 150 pounds of sugar added or dumped into the food per person per year, 18% of our calories, another 18% from white flour, which is so devoid of nutrients that the government forced them to put back at least a little bit of the vitamins. And instead of they're saying, this is horrible white flour, now they call it enriched.
Yeah.
And then between all of those...
Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. Why is it white?
Because they take all the good stuff out, which is the bran and the outer husk where all the vitamins and minerals are. So they've polished off the outer coat of the wheat.
Same with white rice?
Yes, same thing. And that's how they discovered vitamins, is the old Dutch settlers, when they first moved out, hundreds of years ago, and they go to the colonies, and it became fashionable to polish the rice. And they took the polishings and they gave them to the chickens, the chicken feed. And over time, the people started walking bow-legged because they were getting rickets from the vitamin deficiency, and the chickens are walking straight and tall. And one enterprising person looked at that, and he took the chicken feed and called it vital amines or vital proteins, which it wasn't exact, and now people took that and they started walking straight and tall and healthy again. So half of our diet largely comes from empty calories. It has plenty of sugar, plenty of calories, but it's stripped of vitamins and minerals. And that's why this is the first time in human history we have high-calorie malnutrition, where people are obese and malnourished. So the best thing to do is to get a whole food diet, to get it as close to the earth the way it came as you can.
Whole food meaning?
If you're eating an apple, eat an apple. If you look at corn. Corn, good healthy food. You turn it into cornflakes, and all of a sudden it's indigestible, and a lot of the nutrients are gone. So as close as you can with as little processing. Doesn't mean you can't have processed food also. It just means when you can, get a fruit, get a vegetable, have the meat be grown in a way that's not loaded with hormones.
How do you know that?
It'll say on the label. If you can go to health food stores, you can go to Whole Food Market, you can go to Safeway, and it'll say hormone-free, organic, and you can get it there too.
Okay, now you're talking from personal experience, because you went through some physical problems yourself. Because so often we look at somebody like you that, you've got books every place, and God has just given you a brilliant mind. And we get the idea, okay, he can espouse all this stuff, but he's never had anything happen to him. What happened?
Well, I learned about a lot of the stuff I talk about the old-fashioned way. I had it.
Right.
And I was in med school, and I had finished college, and 3 years, was paying my own way through college, and just kept enough credits to keep my work study for the last half semester. Basically, it was almost done in about 2.5 years. And was rushing through med school, which was kind of a leisure activity for me. And I come from an old concentration camp family. Most of my family died in the camps, and it's an old, it's a Hasidic, modern Jewish mix, Orthodox mix, and they were going through meltdown, and all of the camp stuff was coming back up and out. And I tend to be a peacemaker when people come to me to kind of help them understand, and it was one of those things where my uncle literally came in my living room and had a heart attack where I was in med school. And the stress of trying to broker that emotionally, I just wasn't emotionally ready for that, put me against the ropes. And I was a sugar addict back then too, so I know sugar. To me, I knew there was enough sugar in my iced tea when it settled about 2 inches into the bottom.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
And I came down with this nasty viral infection that I call the drop-dead flu. And it triggered chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia.
Now, is that a drop-dead flu? Is that a term that you made up?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it felt like. We knew there was a virus. You could see it in the blood tests, the changes that you see with the virus, but they couldn't isolate the virus. And eventually I had to drop out of medical school. And it basically, since I was paying my own way through, my dad was dead, no scholarship, no work study, no loans. I was homeless, sleeping in parks. And
I can't put my head around Dr. Teitelbaum, homeless, penniless, sleeping in parks.
I wasn't penniless. I had 82 cents.
Oh.
Now, is that because you were too weak to work, or you couldn't think?
Well, my brain wasn't working, all of the above. First they put me in this lab to do a place where you send med students to recover after they're sick, where it's kind of mindless stuff, and I couldn't even do it without contaminating the wells that you had to put little drops of stuff in. It was just, the brain fog was marked. And I landed up on the road, and it was a spiritual journey for me. And it was funny, I still remember in Tulsa, I would be on this park bench, and there was this friendly policeman who would wake me up with a boot each morning in the park, and he was a sweetheart. And it was like God put a holistic medical school sign on my bench. Healers came by, herbalists came by, all kind of natural practitioners came by. And I learned everything I needed to know along the way on that journey to get myself well, go back to medical school, did great. And have spent
How long did it take? How long were you out there on that bench?
I was off for about a year that I was out of school.
Wow.
And then another family member who's going to turn 86 in about a day or two.
Happy birthday.
Took me in and helped me recover. And you know, in terms of getting me polished up and cleaned up from being
So
on
you
the
didn't
road.
know what was wrong with you at the time?
Had
No
no
clue.
idea.
They didn't even have a name for it.
Yeah.
You know?
So did you use that as a motivator that once through medical school, your right turn was going to be in another direction?
Well, it helped me realize the value of the stuff I learned in medical school, but also the real limits. That basically what I discovered is that most of what we learn in medical school and after is simply drug company and medical equipment advertising. It's slick advertising masquerading as science. And it has things that are very helpful. I wouldn't give up the medications that I can use for people. I would just not have them used in the crazy way they're used now, which is dangerous and insane and based mostly on economics. But I learned also that the natural toolkit, which isn't just bottles and pills, but also learning to touch your heart and to connect within to spirit, because that's at the end of the day what healed me.
Grab anything over there if you want to use it as an illustration or whatever. Or, you know, we're not pushing anything, but he is going to. You know, what I love on programs is, especially somebody at your caliber, your place, that they don't just talk about it, but you know, I can talk to the TV screen if I'm sitting at home and go, okay, tell me what I'm supposed to get. Where's it at? How do I buy it? So this is kind of that.
And there's one simple problem with that, which is it's hard for people to distinguish medical, what's helpful versus sales hype.
Yes, that's right.
And because of that, one of my gifts is I have a simple policy. I don't take money from any supplement or pharmaceutical company, period.
Wow. Good.
So even things that I design, my royalties all go to charity. So I'll make money selling stuff on my website.
And you have a website that they can go to and use it.
They can use it, and I do make a living off that. But everything I talk about here, you can find in most any health food store. I purposely don't private label stuff. So the stuff that I talk about, you can get anywhere. If you want to come to vitality101.com and get it, God bless. But get it anywhere that you want.
Yeah.
So that way people won't have to worry that it's a sales hype.
What are you holding in your hand?
We talked about nutrition.
Yeah.
And how half of our calories are empty calories. This is a vitamin powder. You take 1/2 to 1 scoop a day. You can get it for about 50 cents per day. It will replace over 35 tablets of vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and supplements. It is overall outstanding nutritional support for everyone.
I'm telling you, I love that because, you know, I don't like taking all those pills. And the more people come on and they say, well, you need this, pretty soon you're up to 2 handfuls of pills a day.
And people get real tired of being part of the
They
handful
do,
club.
I just took a handful this morning.
I know,
It
and
really
it
is
upsets
true.
my stomach to take that much.
Well, that's why one of the things I focused on is making it really easy for people. I want it to be really good. I want it to be really low cost. And I want it to be easy.
And consistent. You know, if you make something horrible, they'll take it a couple of times. They won't finish it. They'll put it back on the shelf. Shelf life's gone. Next time they look at it, they go, "Oh, this is expired." You know, but so if you make it so that they want to use it, you've got a winner.
Does it taste good?
It's good stuff. It tastes good, and it's easy. Like say, it says 1/2 to 1 scoop, so you adjust it to what feels best, and you listen to your body. And your body will tell you better than any doctor. If something feels good to you, not just right after, you can take heroin and have it feel good to you right after, but if it leaves you feeling better overall, it's probably good for you. And if you don't like the way it feels, don't take it.
Yeah.
Good for you. Okay.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. We're just going to go down the line, and you can go any direction you want, as I told you. You
Yeah.
know, because you know I'm doing this
We're
because
wanting
you're
people
here.
to be healthy out
Okay.
there.
Poor sleep, big factor. We have to have sleep.
Well, we've got an energy crisis of, it's basically like the perfect storm. If you've seen that old movie, where we have per nutrition, for a host of reasons, for some we talked about, we've got increased stress and we've got poor sleep. The average night's sleep until 120 years ago was 9 hours a night. That was average. As many people got 10 as got 8. And what happened then? Light bulbs, radio, television, computers. Now we're down to about 6.5. So we've lost almost 1/3 of our sleep. That's like a 30% pay cut to the body in terms of energy.
What do you do with people? Because I have this said to me. Hey, look, I do just fine on 3 hours sleep.
Then, like I said before, if it's working for you, don't change it. Your body will tell you
Wow.
better than any doctor, including me. So if you're getting by on 3 hours of sleep and you feel great, God bless. Stay with what you're doing. It's for those who are tired, achy, brain fog, weight gain, infections, pain. These are symptoms of poor sleep, not enough sleep. And for those, well, try to get a couple more hours sleep a night. Aim for that 8 hours a night. And if you have insomnia, there's very simple. There's this guy over here, which is an herbal mix of 6 different herbs that are wonderful for sleep. That's by enzymatic therapy. You can get at any health food store.
Wow.
And 2 to 4 at bedtime, leave most people sleeping like puppies.
Wow.
A little bit of melatonin, take a hot bath before bedtime. And let's talk about a couple sleep issues that are common, what people can do about them.
Yes.
So if you don't have time for sleep, make a list of the things you're doing in your life and take the ones that you hate the most and get rid of them. You know, and you'll know things that you know you can't get rid of, but there's some that you can. So if you're serving on school committees that are an utter waste of time because you think you should,
And it's stress related?
and it makes you feel bad. I used to come home, I used to be on dozens of committees, be chairman of the board of this and head of that, and I dragged my sorry bottom home at 10, 11 at night, and my wife would look at me and say, well, how was it? And I said, it was horrible. It was a waste of everybody's time. And one day she said, well, is it doing something socially useful? And I said, no. And she said, why do you do it? Wow. And it was like a light switch that went off, and except for
God
one
bless
committee,
wives.
God bless wives, and except for one committee, I dropped every single one of them. I don't serve on them anymore unless there's a couple special things or my heart really wants to. Like we started a Jewish day school for the community, and I was chairman of the board and chief fundraiser. I loved that. So I kept that one, stayed chairman of the board, made a commitment to get it up, running, and solid. And they just finished, I think, a $3 million fundraising that they raised out to build a new building for the kids. Wow. And doing great. But most of the things I get rid of. Watching the evening news. I don't care what channel you're looking at, whether it's Fox, CNN, MSNBC, or any of these others. It's if you think it's the news, just flip around one of those stations, and there's dozens of them now. They're all saying different things. So it's not the news. It's entertainment.
It's their opinion.
And it's their opinion. So as long as it feels good to watch it, and it does, I'll flip through all of them and just get to entertain myself by all the different things they're saying. But when it stops feeling good, I have this Tai Chi move where I go and I reach behind me, grab the remote control, and click off.
That's good.
So, and then I take that extra time and I get my sleep. So there's plenty of ways to make time for sleep.
Yeah.
And then you have the herbal mix that'll get you sleeping like a puppy if you have insomnia. If you have high blood pressure, overweight, and you snore at night, think sleep apnea. That's where you stop breathing many times during the night.
Now, what does that do because I've seen shows where the guy, for a long period of time, you don't hear anything. And then the guy goes, what is that?
Well, what happens is that the airway is getting clogged because the person has extra weight. Usually if the shirt size is over 17, and it closes the airway. So it's like you have a balloon, and like lungs letting air in and out, and it's like the neck of the balloon gets clogged shut. And then the person, it's like suffocating people 50 times a night, where they can't get the air, and finally it wakes them up enough that, and you have that.
What does that do to the heart?
It causes high blood pressure and can aggravate heart function, cause pulmonary hypertension.
Can you be slim and have sleep apnea?
You can, but it's less common. There's what's called central sleep apnea versus obstructive. The one where people are built like a refrigerator is the most common one, but we'll sometimes see the skinny people have it as well. And that's usually called central sleep apnea. And I talk about it in the book, and it has all the details.
You cover everything from A to Z.
And yes.
You got to get your copy. I'm telling but I'm going to be saying that at 6 shows. But because we're, Sharron saying, well, how are you going to go through? I says, we're going to go through areas that the people watching, I'm hoping, are going to say, man, you hit my area. Yesterday it wasn't my area. I was listening because there was a lot of information that I needed. But today you hit my area. So hopefully as we go, that's what you're going to be doing.
It's a natural owner's manual for your body, and I'll even talk about which medications get thumbs up or, that's the nice thing about not taking money from either side is I'm pretty unabashed about saying what I think is good and what isn't. So if you have sleep apnea, the book will tell you how. It'll tell you how to just do a videotape of yourself to see if you got it. And you know that you can sometimes cure sleep apnea with a tennis ball?
What do you mean?
You have it whipped right in your face.
Right, wake you up.
But if the person snores just when they're on their back, you can get a tight T-shirt or something, take an old tennis ball or do one, sew it into an old pocket from some other shirt, and sew it into the small of the back of the T-shirt. So when the person is lying on their back, it's uncomfortable. Instead of you having to give a rib to the side to get them to turn over, the tennis ball will make them turn over themselves.
Wow.
Now, if the person does that, no matter what position, it's not going to work, and there's little CPAP masks and blah, blah, blah. That's all in the book. But for a lot of people where it's just on their back,
That's an inexpensive way to do it.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people, money is tight, so we're going to give them, here's cheap ways that work and are safe.
Okay, inactivity, big one, because that's one of the hardest things for people. They go, okay, I know I need to do it. I did it yesterday. I just can't do it every day. Now, what can we do to motivate that thinking?
Two big things. First of all, make a date with a friend where you're going to meet him each day to go for a walk for a half hour.
Half hour?
Even a half hour. You can stretch it up to an hour if you want.
Well, I'm saying a lot of people say, you know, I got 10 minutes, but I can't do it a half hour.
So where you spend your time that's more valuable than going ahead and staying healthy. If you want to sit there, the body has a use it or lose it approach to efficiency. If you don't use it, the body's going to say you don't need it, and it's going to shelve it. So if you don't use walking, the body's going to say, okay, they don't want walking. And you're going to find that it gets hard. So whether you have pain preventing it, if you're so busy that the only exercise you get is stepping on a gas pedal and playing with the remote control, well, that's what your body's going to leave you with. So
okay, let me interject this. A lot of people don't do any exercise because they just don't feel good. Okay, and then the wind might be blowing too. Okay.
All right, I know who that's supposed to be.
So how do you? Okay, I don't feel good, so I'm not going to go out there.
Let me do it. Sharron?
Yes.
Shopping is good exercise.
Ooh.
I always said that. In fact, I came home the other day. I'd been shopping for a couple hours.
She did.
And I came in the house, and he's getting ready for his little jog, and he goes, "It's a nice night for walking." And I go, "I just did my walking. I walked all over the mall." So I was right.
Here's trick number 2. You know, we talked about use your willpower to get out there, whether it's shopping or for a walk, and then have fun with it. Find another partner to walk with if you need. If your honey doesn't want to be doing that, then go by yourself. Get a little iPhone thing, or you plug it in, enjoy them, listening to music. But get a pedometer. You can get them for $15. They clip onto your belt. There's no wires and stuff. And it'll measure how many steps a day you're taking. It'll do distance, but I prefer steps. And aim for 10,000 steps a day. That's 5 miles. Now, I did it the first day because I work out of the home and the whole thing, and I did 600 steps. It was like, oh, God, you know. And that kind of got me out of the door. And
yeah, because there's so many around here, even in the station, they sit all day long in an office, you know, which is really bad,
and
but
they
you
go
have
home
to.
and they don't feel like doing anything.
Yep. So get a pedometer, $15.
Yeah,
it's a
that's a
great
good idea.
biofeedback tool.
Yeah.
And if you're getting over 5,000, you want to aim for 10,000. If you're getting over 5,000, decent. But if you're getting less than that, then that's a wake-up call. And that's what I did. And my wife and I will go for a 2 to 4 mile walk each day now.
Okay, did you, when you were going through that physical problem, sleeping on a park bench, you didn't feel like exercising, right?
No. And the thing is, sometimes people are too much in pain or too exhausted to exercise. And that's why we talk about the SHINE protocol for them: sleep, hormones, infections, nutrition, exercise. And our research, double-blind placebo-controlled study, showed that people with chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, when you do SHINE, with the exercise being as able, even if it's just 10 steps a day, whatever it is, 91% of people will improve, with an average 90% increase in quality of life. This is published research on chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. Another study we did just recently that's been submitted for publication, Corvalin, which is ribose, is an energy nutrient. And in the study, after 3 weeks, people's energy increased an average of 61%.
Spelled C-O-R-V-A-L-E-N.
Corvalin. And again, you can find it at vitality101.com, or you can find it under ribose in most health food stores. One 5-gram scoop 3 times a day for 3 weeks, and then twice a day. Looks and tastes like sugar, easy to take.
There you are.
Anybody with heart disease, we'll talk about if you've got heart failure and you're bedridden, we will teach you 5 natural things you can take that will get you out there walking and feeling just fine.
Wow.
Really? So that's Shine. Go over that one more time, the Shine.
For those with chronic pain
In other
or
words, they
chronic
don't feel like
fatigue
getting out
syndrome,
and exercising.
if they ache all over and can't sleep, with exhaustion, they've got chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia likely. Even if they have something else like lupus or Sjogren's, if they have insomnia with it, they've probably got the chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. And the book on my website will talk about the Shine protocol, how to get you sleeping, how to give the hormonal support because the blood tests are not reliable, how to treat infections, nutritional support, and exercise. And if you have pain...
Blood tests are not reliable.
No, they really aren't. But let me show one simple thing for pain called a Herman, which is this guy. This is a pain relief miracle. Whatever pain you've got, take 1 or 2, 3 times a day. By 6 weeks, most of it you'll find, even if you've been on morphine and it didn't help.
C-U-R-A?
M-I-N.
Okay.
By Europharma, you can find it in most health food stores. This knocks out pain incredibly.
Even rheumatoid arthritis, something like that?
Even rheumatoid arthritis, and we'll talk about that. For rheumatoid arthritis, the Curcumin, glucosamine, MSM, and of all things, antibiotics. I tell people avoid excess antibiotics. But rheumatoid arthritis, if you give, the study after study has shown that doxycycline, a cheap, costs a nickel a pill, is as effective as most of these $20,000 a year rheumatoid arthritis drugs that they're giving out to DMA or DS.
Unbelievable.
But since it's only a nickel a day, nobody's out there talking about it.
Isn't that
Nobody's
something?
going to make money on that, baby. Okay,
Wow.
we're going to come back, and then we're going to start up with happiness deficiency. And we're going to then move through this book. We've got 6 shows. You folks are going to be so blessed if you'll stay with us during these 6 shows. Now, tomorrow you'll have another one. We're going to pick up on happiness deficiency, and then we're going to move through that. But what a pleasure it is to have you. But let me tell you something, and I know this personally. You can have all of this doing wonderful things for your body and not know Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. Sooner or later, we're all going to die. Where are you going to go? It's important to know, absent from the body, present with the Lord Jesus Christ. If you don't know Him, trust Him. Oh God, be merciful to me, a sinner. Come into my heart and life. Change me. I receive you. God bless you for that decision. Join us tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Invited to tune in each week to The Good Life, hosted by CTN founder and president Bob and Jane DeAndre. This program features inspirational and informative interviews, anointed music, and special reports. Don't miss The Good Life, Friday nights at 9 p.m. and Monday mornings at 3 a.m. Eastern Time, here on the Christian Television Network.
God bless you indeed, and shalom, beloved ones. Join me as we go on a journey together, discovering how the writings in the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament connect. I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna live my life for Yeshua.
Please welcome our very special guest.
You never know who's going to be on The Jim Bakker Show.
Only
Join Jim and Lori Baker every day as they welcome anointed teachers.
I was almost desperate to get back here.
Creative innovators.
Everything that comes through his mind is from God.
And the most dynamic personalities from around the Christian world.
You're an inspiration for people. This is an incredible place.
I have no product line. I'm not signed up